Hello, Programming 11. We are going to be making Brick Breaker today. Hey, I'm going to show you some stuff, but you should start with the Mode Framework starter code. You can go into here and you can either download the files or you can copy and paste them to an existing sketch. Basically, this is the Mode Framework, and here's sort of the beginning part of it, the main tab. Hopefully this works out well for you. When you save it, if you download it, by the way, you might have some troubles with this. When you go to download it, you're going to download it as a zip file. You got to make sure you extract the zip file, and then when you put it into a folder, the folder name has to match the main tab. So if you download exactly as it is, when you extract it into a folder called Mode Framework. You might want to rename that because this isn't just a Mode Framework, this is Brick Breaker. So feel free to rename this to Brick Breaker. And of course that means rename the folder. If this is all very confusing, why don't you just go make a new sketch and just download each of these different things to a separate tab. And that'll be just fine. This is one tab, this is another tab, this is your main tab here. And just copy and paste them is totally okay. Alright, so there you go. There's the Mode Framework stuff. Once you have that, you're going to be making Brick Breaker. I'll show you the basics of what I have made for you today. It's pretty basic. Yeah. But I'm moving this paddle with the keys, so we're going to do that. Didn't quite have enough time to do the bouncing off the ball, but that's okay. I think that's actually a whole separate lesson. There's some math involved there that will be complicated, kind of, not super complicated, but definitely we can work on that next time, next lesson. So we'll just run you through what's going on in here. Hopefully you've downloaded the Mode Framework already from my website, as I was just showing you. And then, this is already there, but you're going to add in the additional things. Let me show you what I've added in. We have some ball variables, just the X and Y position of the ball. And this is the VX and VY of the ball. This is very much going to be just like the target. The code for the ball is like the target from the target clicking game. I also have the position of the paddle, PX and PY. And then there's some new variables. They're called Boolean variables. They're variables that are either true or false. And they represent key presses. So when you press the keys, these get turned to true. When you release the keys, they get turned to false. And that's the way we are going to be reading in the key input. So these are just Boolean variables. Nothing technically really special about them, just they can store true or they can store false. And that's the story right there. So you already have the draw function all done for you, but the setup is going to be important. We're just kind of setting up some default values for where the ball is going to start. So I put these values in here, nothing special. The paddle I put with these values here to get it started. Both the ball and paddle are sort of centered horizontally, and the ball is going to be in the middle and going down. The paddle is just going to be right in the middle and partially submerged underneath the bottom of the screen, so it looks like it's a dome, a semicircle, as opposed to a circle, which it actually is a circle, but we don't really want it to be a circle. All right, this is the main tab. That's all it is. Nothing else to see here. The next thing I'd like to show you is a new tab you're going to be adding in. So it's not in the starter code, so you're going to have to add in this keyboard tab. This is how you do keyboard input. Whoa, look at this craziness. We got two new functions. Void key pressed, void key released. They are special functions, and they're similar to the mouse stuff. Do you remember the mouse released function? It's one of those things that gets automatically called by processing. Same deal with key pressed. When you press a key, it automatically calls this function in any, in between frames. So that's very responsive. Key release happens when you release a key. And so what we're going to do keyboard controls, we are going to use if statements to check to see what key was pressed and what key was released. And we'll use that to manage those right key and left key Boolean variables. So if the right key was pressed, then we'll set right key to true. If left key was pressed, we'll set it to true. Similarly, we'll set them to false if the right key was released or the left key was released. That's what this code is basically accomplishing. Okay, And you can add in other keys, although it's going to get a little bit complicated if you want to add in WASD or other things. It's a little bit different, but I will talk about that in another lesson. We'll just do left and right keys for now. All right. So we're going to pause right there, and we'll come back in another lesson for the next part of the game.